Hello team and welcome back to the channel. So usually I ask to subscribe at this point, but for today I would just say watch the video. If you find the video useful, then you can subscribe to the channel for more videos like that. Right. Now let us jump to the agenda of the video, what exactly we are going to cover today. So today's video is going to be on GitHub Actions. And this will be including a live project as well. Okay. So this is what we are going to cover, and let us understand in detail what exactly we need to do. First of all, we are going to set up our Git repo. Secondly, we are going to set up our GitHub Actions. Thirdly, we are going to add a virtual machine as a runner for our GitHub action. Fourthly, we are going to write the CICD YAML pipeline from scratch. Okay, and this is the most important part because I want everyone to learn how to write the pipelines from scratch instead of just copy pasting the pipelines, right? Fourthly, we are also going to make sure that we are integrating different tools and servers within our pipeline, like 𝗕𝗲𝗿, then SonarQube Server, Docker tool, even Kubernetes. Then only we'll be able to deploy our application to Kubernetes. Okay. So all these things will be covered today in detail from scratch. So make sure to watch this video till end, and if you find it useful, then make sure to subscribe. One last thing team, our batch 9 of DevSecOps and Cloud DevOps is starting from 25th of March, that is just 2 days afterwards. So yeah, make sure to check it out. If interested, you can enroll. It is having total 20 mega projects, different kind of projects, multi-tier projects, microservice project, networking project, cloud project, all sorts of projects we are going to have. And the highlight of this batch is going to be the Discord server that we are going to have, where we are going to have one-to-one interview preparation, one-to-one general connect if you need anything, and there will be separate like voice channel for discussions. Rest, if you are having text channels, resume review directly we can do. If you have any doubt, you can put it here. Assignments will be given here, plus resources. As you see that I post a lot of documents on LinkedIn, so all those documents will be available directly here itself, so you can download them as well. Plus we will be having announcements, so if I have some update or something that needs to be done, some kind of event, so that will be announced here. Okay, so yeah, all this thing will be part of our batch 9, so make sure to check it out. If interested to learn everything from scratch, make sure to enroll as well. Okay, as of now we are having a discount, and that will be closed very soon because it is starting from 25th of March. Now with that being said, let's get started. So before we get started with writing the pipeline section, we need to understand why exactly GitHub Actions is better than Jenkins, or how exactly it's different than Jenkins. Okay, so first let me explain you concept of Jenkins. As we know, Jenkins is one of the most widely CI/CD tool used. So there are basically two components in Jenkins. First we have Jenkins master. A Jenkins master is the actual Jenkins server, okay, which we set up. And second thing that we have along with Jenkins master is Jenkins slave, which is going to be the actual machine where we are going to perform the complete CI/CD thing, basically build our application. Okay, so now if I want to set up Jenkins on my side, what I have to do, I need to have resources. Resources means if I need to set up Jenkins master, I need to have a virtual machine, right? Similarly, if I need to set up Jenkins slave, I need to have a virtual machine. Those are resources. And if you want to use virtual machines, you need to pay for them, right? So for example, let's say I want to set up Jenkins master on a machine. Let's say it is of size T2 medium. Okay, you can understand it's going to be have minimum 4 GB of RAM, and there will be some amount of storage. Similarly for slave also, right? So here the problem statement that you can see very clearly is that if you want to use Jenkins, you have to pay for it, right? And you have to purchase some kind of resources where you can set them up. Okay, now when we talk about GitHub Actions, now here, unlike Jenkins master or Jenkins slave, you don't have to set up. You simply need to make sure that you have a GitHub account, you have a GitHub repository, and you can simply start writing the CI/CD pipeline. Okay. Now one thing is that, as I said, Jenkins slave is the server where the application is actually built and getting built, right? All the commands of pipeline is going to be running. Similar to that, inside GitHub Actions also we have a concept of slave, which we call as runner. That means there will be some kind of server or virtual machine existing where your application is going to be built, and whatever commands we are running, that is going to get executed. But inside GitHub Actions, we have two options for runner. One option is shared runner, you can say. Second option we have, which is a private runner. Now, what is runner? So similar to slave also, the runner is basically a like virtual machine or server where your all the commands that you write for the CI/CD pipeline going to get executed. When we talk about shared runner, so the benefit of shared runner is that it's completely free. It will be provided by GitHub only. You don't have to do anything. You just need to provide a name. For example, let's say I want to run my commands on a virtual machine of Ubuntu. So I need to write Ubuntu latest. That means it's going to run all my commands on a runner that is of configuration Ubuntu latest, right? If I want to run on Windows, I can define Windows latest. Okay. But again, as I said, if you are going to use shared runner, so the pro is that it's completely free. Con is that you won't be having access to backend of it. For example, if I set up Jenkins slave and build everything, so I can go inside Jenkins slave machine, virtual machine, I can go because I have access to it. I can go into the backend, I can see everything, right? All the files and everything that is getting created, I can see. But in case of shared runners, you cannot see that because it is being managed by GitHub team. So you can build everything on that, but you cannot have access to it, right, directly. Like you can not go into backend of it. While when we talk about private runner, so here what we do, we bring our own virtual machine and then add this virtual machine as a runner. Okay. Benefit here, what you are getting, first of all, con is that you have to pay for it. Obviously, you have to bring your own virtual machine. But benefit here is that it will be completely isolated and private to you only or your company. Secondly, you will be having complete control or complete access over it. Okay, so at this point, most companies prefer this only because they can use their own virtual machine having complete control over it and make sure that it is completely isolated. So I'm going to explain you both the examples, but complete CI/CD flow we are going to perform with this. Okay, we are going to set up our own VM as a runner and we are going to work with it. Okay, so let me explain you first the phases. So first phase we have one where we are going to set up our Git repo. Okay, phase 2 will be add a VM as runner. Phase 3 will be CI/CD pipeline. Inside CI/CD pipelines, there will be multiple sections. First section, we are going to have security checks. So once we have executed all the security checks, next thing that we want to perform is basically the test cases. Whatever test cases we have, we are going to execute them. Third stage which we are going to have is build our application and publish the artifact. Okay, publish the artifact. That's what we are going to do. Moving forward, we are going to build and scan Docker image, and side by side we are going to push it to a Docker registry or repository. Finally, what we are going to have is deploy the application to Kubernetes cluster. Okay, and again I'm saying that make sure to watch this till end because main thing that we are going to focus in this video is understanding how we are going to write the CI/CD pipeline, which is the most important part. Okay, so yeah, with that being said, let's get started. So first thing what we can do, we can go on our GitHub account, and here first of all I'm going to create a new repository, and let's name this repository as GitHub actions project. Okay, and I'll just keep it public so that you guys can also utilize it, and click on create repository. Repository is created, but now we have to push our code to it. So I'll copy the HTTPS URL of the code, and then we can go to location where we actually have the code. So this is the code that we are going to utilize. I'm going to open a terminal here. I already have Git installed here. I'll run git clone. It's cloned, and next thing that I want to do is copy the whole code, paste it inside this, then run the command git add dot to add all the files. See, it is giving error because we are not inside Git repository. So we will go inside Git repository folder, GitHub Actions project, and now we can run the git add command, then git commit -m added code by DevOps. Okay, this is done, and now we can push the changes to our main branch, git push, and this is done. We can go back here, we can refresh the page. Okay, so now we have the code and everything is fine. Next thing what we can do is, firstly let me show you how you can utilize a shared runner, that is the runner that is already available for free. Okay, for that, first of all, we can click on actions. Now basically, if you are doing this for the first time, either you can write everything from scratch or you can take a template. Okay, so here if you see this section, like there are multiple options available, but here for now we are going to go with Java with Maven. That is the easiest one and that is very good for starters. So we will click on configure, and now it's going to create a template file. Okay, you can see there is a new folder got created, .github/workflows, and inside this folder we will be having a file. Any name you can give, that is completely up to you. For now it's just going with Maven, or maybe we can go with, let's say, CICD.YAML, right? That looks better. So this is the YAML file that it gives you, and it is the kind of template that you can use and that you can modify to write your own CICD file. Okay, so first I will remove the comments, whatever comments I have, and at the end we have some optional thing also, that also I have removed. Okay, now let me explain you everything. First we have name. So name, what I want to write the name as CICD pipeline. Okay, then we have on push. Now if you remember correctly, inside Jenkins we had an option of webhook trigger, which basically means that anytime we push something to GitHub repository to a specific branch, it's going to start the pipeline, right? It's going to trigger the pipeline. That's why it was used to call as webhook triggers. Same option we have also. So here if you see on push, this means that this is basically refers to the trigger conditions, on what conditions your pipeline will be triggered automatically. First option, if you see, push and then branch details. So here it means that anytime if I push anything to main branch, then pipeline will be triggered. Second thing, we have a pull request. That means on pull request also this branch will be triggered. So I will be keeping just one condition, which is going to be push. If anything happens on main branch, because why I'm keeping push, because even if you have pull request, if pull request is approved, it's going to commit something, like something is going to get pushed into main branch. So eventually that is the best condition. Then we have jobs. Now here you see just one job which is built, and inside built we have these sections. I'll explain in a bit. So basically inside jobs you can have multiple jobs. Okay, why do we need to have multiple jobs? Because each job will be running in an isolated environment, and it's the best way to do. Okay, so first job that I want to create, which is going to be compile. I want to compile the source code first. Next up, what you see, runs on. So this is where you define where exactly your pipeline is going to run. For example, here it's written Ubuntu latest. This refers to, as I told you, this refers to, if I show you here, you can see Ubuntu latest, Windows latest. This refers to a shared runner provided by GitHub. Okay, so this means that runs on, where here whatever you define, based on that only your pipeline will run. If I define the information about name of my private VM runner, then my pipeline will run there. But here Ubuntu latest means it's going to run on a Ubuntu machine provided by GitHub. Okay, after that we have steps. So inside each job there is going to be multiple steps. First section uses actions. Now this is the kind of thing that you are going to see multiple places inside GitHub Actions, because these are basically, in short, they are known as actions. Those set up an environment. For example, here if you see action/checkout@4, this means that on the runner it's going to create a local copy of the repository, basically check out the code there on the runner. Because see, that's what used to happen in Jenkins also. We used to run the command for git checkout to create a local copy, then only Jenkins can work with that. Similar to that, here inside GitHub action runner, it's going to first check out the code. Then what we are doing, name. See, each steps can have its own name. So here what we have written, setup JDK 17. Again, actions. See, there are going to be multiple kind of actions, and each action will be doing some specific kind of task. For example, first action was doing checking out. Second action is going to set up environment for installing JDK. So here we have defined that. Then here we are defining how it's going to getting installed, which version is going to get installed. And see, these things I have not written. These are kind of template that is already provided by GitHub. And you know, for every single thing, template is available. Template means here we can call them as actions. For Docker also push and build push, all these things we'll be having separate actions, which I'll be showing you in a bit. Okay. So here first thing we can see that it's going to install JDK 17. Now, if I run it directly, it's going to give an error because it might not be able to find Maven. Okay, but yeah, for now let us just commit this and let's see what happens. Okay, this is our simple command for this. Yeah, as soon as you like commit it, you can go to actions and you can see here the status, and compile has started. Basically, I did not modify the command for building. You can see that it was able to find Maven as well on the latest runner or shared runner. Okay, so it is running fine, and let's see how much time does it take. Okay, here you can see successful. We can go back to our pipeline. We can simply go back to here, actions first. You can see it is successful. And now if I go back to pipeline, here also you'll be able to see one tick mark. That means success. Coming back to workflows, click open it, and now we can modify it as per our own requirement. Okay. So for now, yeah, here let me just put it as Maven compile because I don't want a package here itself. So in simple ways, I hope you are very clear about how you can run a pipeline on a shared runner, but providing simply you have to provide here. Few things you need to take care of. For example, there might be situations where, for example, let's say I want to use 𝗕𝗏. Okay. So in case of 𝗕𝗏, I have to install directly. I have to install the tool on this runner because by default that shared runner might not have the tool 𝗕𝗏. That means I have to run the command for installation of 𝗕𝗏. Okay. For example, let me show you. This is our, let's say, this is our first job, which is compile job. Next thing that I want is run security checks. Okay. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a clone of this. Just make sure the indentation should be correct, and it should be okay. So here name I can give is security checks. Okay, error is gone. Now what things we have to have, again see, separate job means it's going to run in an isolated environment. That means you have to run this command again. You have to clone the repository again. Okay. Now here what we are going to write, first I'm going to remove this. This might not be needed here because we just want to use 𝗕𝗏. Okay. Here you can give a name to the step, and I'm going to give the name as 𝗕𝗏 fs scan, means file system scan. Now as I told that by default 𝗕𝗏 might not be installed on the runner, shared runner. So what we are going to do first, we are going to run the command to install. So if I go here, run install 𝗕𝗏 on Ubuntu, open the first link, scroll down, and here we can see these are the commands we can use. Coming back here now, this thing that you see run, it's basically, you can see whatever shell commands you want to execute, you can directly execute here. And if you have multiple lines of shell command, then you have to execute in a different way. Let me show you. Here we just have one command, so we can write here. If I need to run second command, I can write here run, and here I can write, right? Sorry, which is it's not very good practice when you have multiple lines. So we are going to write pipe here, go to next line, tab, paste here the commands that we have, and make sure to align it properly. These are the commands for installing 𝗕𝗏. Just make sure to add -y here also, -y, and this is going to install 𝗕𝗏 on our shared runner. Okay, So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add two steps. Okay, first is going to be 𝗕𝗏 installation. Okay, second thing that I can add, sorry, name first. Let me give name. Name will be 𝗕𝗏 fs scan. Okay, let's make some space also, and here we can write the run, and here, yeah, it cannot be null, sorry. It's a very good feature. Like side by side, it's going to give you information about what kind of errors you are facing, right? Now what I can do, we can write here 𝗕𝗏 fs -- format. Then I want the table format in table format. Sorry, there is a report in table format. I want to export it inside a separate file. Let's say fs-report.json and a dot. That means scan the current directory. Now here what is happening, if you see very closely, even though we are going to generate the report, but as we are running the command on Ubuntu latest, that means on the shared runner, so we won't be having access to this file. That is what I'm talking about. That is the scenario. Those are the scenarios where we are going to use like private runner. That is the best situations. Okay, this is added, but we have to add one more step, which is to perform something else. Let me show you. This is going to perform git-leaks scan. For those who are not aware about git-leaks is a tool that is going to find if in your source code, if you have any kind of, like if you have any kind of sensitive data hard coded, for example, API tokens, secret key, access key, those things should not be hard coded in the source code. So git-leaks is going to tell you that. Okay, so we can write git-leaks, and here I can run a command to install it. As I said, by default, shared runner might not have that. So we are going to run the command sudo apt install git-leaks-y. Okay. Now this is going to install git-leaks. Let me write it in better way. Sorry, git-leaks installation. Okay. Next thing that we want to perform is basically actual scanning by git-leaks, and name of this this will be git-leaks code scan. Run. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the command for checking git-leaks. So for that we can run git-leaks detect source dot. Okay. If you want the report to be generated in a separate file, you can write in this way. Say git-leaks detect -r for report, and we want the report into like this git leaks dash report dot json. Let me copy this here, and the format should be here. We can define using -f JSON. Now again, this is also going to create a separate file, but as this command is going to run on shared runner, so this won't be accessible to us. Okay, but let me, okay, this is fine. And now let us run this. I have committed the changes, and we can go to actions, and here we can see the status. You can see. Now one problem you might be able to see here, that both these jobs are running at the same time. In some scenarios it is good, in some scenarios it might not be good. Okay, for example, if we have multiple testing things, we can run them parallelly, and here also you can see they are running parallelly, right? But let us say scenario where I want to run this two jobs not side by side, but one after other. How we can do that? So let me show you, but before that, let's wait for this to complete. You can see 𝗕𝗏 is getting installed. See, that is what I am saying, ki in my opinion, in my experience, Jenkins is quite at this point it's highly relevant and highly useful in every companies. But after few years, at this point itself, most of the companies are switching to GitHub Actions or GitLab CI/CD. Okay. So yeah, and again, that's what I'm saying. You have to learn very clearly how to write everything from scratch, and that's what I'm trying to teach here. So yeah, let's wait for Trivy installation complete. It's quite good actually. See, very easily you can see that there are two jobs running at the same time, right? That means parallel running. But my scenario is that my requirement is that I want that these two jobs should be run one after another. Okay. And yeah, so git leaks is also started. No leaks were found, as you can see here. And I guess this is done. Now let's say I want to run one after another. So what we can do, we can again go back to our code, CICD YAML, edit this. Now on this second stage, or on the second job, that is security check job, what I'm going to do, I'm going to write needs, and here we have to write name of previous stage. So this basically means that second job that we have, security check, is going to run only after completion of compile job. If I comment these changes, let me show you. And we can go to actions, status, and now you can see the status. It is compilation is running first and it's waiting. Security check is waiting. So that means the security check won't get start to run until unless compilation is completed. Okay, and you can understand very clearly how useful this is. One more thing, since we are running everything in shared runner, that means every time we have to install Trivy, because every time we might be getting a separate or new runner kind of new runner. Okay, you can see first it is installation, then Trivy scan command. Okay, so yeah, it will be completed, that's fine. So I hope this is clear that how you can run a job on a separate or on a shared runner. That is very clear, I hope. Okay, now let us jump to something, but it basically jumps to how we can use our own virtual machine as a runner and build everything on that and deploy from that as well. Okay, so let us do that. Let me just confirm. Yeah, both of them are completed, so that is fine. Okay, so now in order to add a virtual machine as a runner, what we have to do, first of all, let's click on settings. On left side, you'll be able to see this option, actions. On actions, under actions, you'll be see two options, general and runners. Click on runners and click on new self-hosted runner. From here, we can add a new runner. So open that. Based on what kind of virtual machine you are having, you can decide. So I'm going to use a Linux machine, so I'll select that. And as soon as I click on that, we'll be getting a list of commands that we can use. Okay, and these commands are the one that we have to run on a virtual machine to make it as a runner for our GitHub actions. Okay, so for that we need to have a virtual machine, so let us do that as well. Now we have to create a virtual machine. So before that, let me show you the security ports that I have opened on my security group. If I show you, these are the ports that I generally keep open. Okay, so once this is done, let us create our virtual machine and let us name the virtual machine as runner. Ubuntu machine we are selecting, and LTS 24.04 is the version. Size we can go with to medium. Keep here we can select the one that we have on our local, and security group, the one that I just showed you. Storage I'm going with 30 for now. 25 is also fine, or maybe let's go with 25. We'll need to like set up so much. Okay, so it is created and now we can connect to it. First we will copy the public IP address. We'll go to MobaXterm session SSH, paste the public IP. Username is going to be this. Then we have advanced SSH, and we can select the private key. If you want, you can just name it also. I'll name it to runner, and at the end, if you want, you can set it a color also. So I'm just going with black. Now we are connected to our virtual machine. Okay, so let us run few commands. So first thing that we have to do, sudo apt update. So meanwhile this is happening, we will go back to our GitHub actions. We will go to settings, actions, and then runners. Click on new self-hosted runner, select Linux. Now these are the commands that we have to run. So first is we need to create a directory. and let's wait for this to complete. Okay. And next thing what we have to do, we have to download a package. This package contains all the required files and whatever is required for a runner, for a VM to become runner for a GitHub Actions. So we will download this as well. Next thing we have to do is, there's an optional command, so we'll just leave it. Next thing what we can do, we can extract the package that we have just downloaded. And this is done. Okay. So we have extracted. Now I'm going to remove the actual package tar file because it's going to occupy some space. So yeah. Now we have these files available, right? Next step that we have to execute is execute this config.sh. If you see here, there is this file config.sh, which is an executable shell script in green color, you can see. And once we execute it, we have to provide first of all a repo URL and a token for authentication. So we will copy this. You can see now it is self-hosted runner registration connected to GitHub. Name of the runner you want. So I'm just going with runner-1. Okay, here you see could not find any self-hosted runner group. The thing is key, by default there is no runner group available. Okay, so I will execute the command one more time, and this time for runner group we will just go with default one. So we will press enter. Name of the runner, which will be runner-1. Now label. So labels is basically the command which is going to help you GitHub Actions to identify. If I open this, open the pipeline back, and here you can see this is basically refers to label. So here you can define, if I private runner has specific label, if I write it here, then that means my pipeline is going to run there. Okay, so here I'm going to select the label simply as self-hosted. Okay, this is done, and now runner successfully added. Okay, now name of work folder. So basically there will be one directory which is going to be keeping everything, all the pipelines and everything. So by default there is this is the default directory _work. If you want to create new, you can just provide a name. I'll just go with the default one, and now setting save. So now we have set up our runner is done, right? Next command in order to start the runner. Okay, if I show you, if I go back here, let me open this in a duplicate page as well. Settings, and if I go to runners, here you can see runner is added, runner1 self-hosted, and status is offline. So if I need to make it online, I need to execute this shell script. Okay, and this is going to start the runner. So I have executed, and let's see. So you can see it says connected to GitHub, and now listening for jobs. Same thing, if I go here, refresh the page, you can see now it is idle and status is online. Okay, so runner is added. Now we can go to our pipeline and let us modify. Now in place of this runs on, what we are going to write, the label of the runner that we just set up, which was self-hosted. Okay, same thing here also, you can write self-hosted. Okay, and let us commit the changes, and let's see what happens. If I go to actions, new pipeline is triggered. Okay, and now if I go back to here, you can see running job compile. That means our runner is able to pick up our jobs. Okay, so that works fine. Now let it be running. It will take a little bit of time to install everything and run. So meanwhile, what we can do, okay, we have some error, I guess. What was the error? Let us see. Build with Maven not found. Okay, so this error is coming because we have not installed Maven. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to directly go on the virtual machine, and here I'm going to run sudo apt install maven-y. Okay, and once this is done, and so Maven, basically we are installing Maven, so once this is installed, then we won't be facing issues anymore. Okay, and I can simply go to actions, open this, and we are going to run the failed job. And now it should not be getting any kind of issue. Okay, now you can see it is able to download all the dependencies. That means Maven is present now. So this is fine. Now, next step what we want to do, so this will work fine and we can just leave it as it is. Now, next thing what we want to do, so we have to add other stages. Okay, I can open the pipeline again. We can go back here. So compile was done. Security check is done. Next thing what we want to do, we want to run unit test cases that we have. So I'm going to edit the file. And next job I want, so I can copy this and I can create a, if I scroll down, here I can rename this to test. Okay, and this seems fine. Here we can provide the name as unit test cases, and here commands will be Maven test. Okay, this is fine. So we are not committing now because we have to add other stages also. Next thing that I want to do is add for SonarQube. Okay, here first job was compile, then we had security check, then we had test cases. Next thing that I want to perform is SonarQube analysis. Okay, so first of all, so now talking about how exactly we can add SonarQube stage. Okay, so for that, first of all, what we need to have, we need to set up our SonarQube server. So I will click on launch instance, SonarQube. Okay, Ubuntu machine 24.04 LTS. Instance type we can select T2 medium only, it's more than enough. Here key pair we can select, and security group, storage 25 is more than fine, and we can generate. And let me refresh the page. So we have now SonarQube running, so we can connect to it. We can go to 𝗭𝗏𝗃𝗀, we can create a duplicate of it. And rename will be SonarQube. IP we can provide. Okay, here we see, I think security check has been failed. Let us see what exactly was the error. Let us modify our commands. Guys, I have just modified the code here. I have made sure that -y is added, and because of that, 𝗕𝗏 command, 𝗕𝗏 steps is successful now. Okay, side by side I have also added this in this format. Now next thing what we want to do, we want to add SonarQube stage. So for that, let us create SonarQube server, and for that I'm going to create a virtual machine of Ubuntu kind. Version will be 24.04. Size we can select T2 medium, which is more than enough actually. And key pair we can select security group. Just make sure that port 9000 is open. Storage I'm giving 25, and we can launch. And once this is done, we will be able to connect to this machine. Let's get the public IP address, go to 𝗭𝗏𝗃𝗀, let's create a duplicate session, and let us rename this to SonarQube. Okay, and we'll replace the IP address, and let us color also, let us make to something different. Okay, and we can connect to this machine. So next thing we have to do is install, run the command sudo apt update, and after that we need to install Docker, which is going to help us set up SonarQube inside a Docker container. Okay, so let's wait for this to complete. And okay, I guess this is done. Now we are going to install Docker. Docker is not present, but we can install it using this command. Okay, let's wait for this to complete as well. Now, as we know, by default, only root user has permission to execute Docker commands. So once you have installed Docker, we need to make sure that Ubuntu user has permission to execute Docker command. For that, we can run a sudo usermod -a capital G Docker and $user. This basically means that we are adding Ubuntu user to Docker group so that whatever permission Docker group has can be given to Ubuntu user as well. Once you have done that, you need to run one more command, which is new group docker, which is going to make sure these changes are applied and they are reflecting. After this is done, we can run the command to set up Docker container. Docker run -d -name. We can give a name also, sonar, and after that -p for publishing the ports, and this is the host port, and second is going to be the container port. Now we need to provide information about the Docker image, which is going to be SonarQube LTS-community. Okay, and let's wait for this. Okay, so once this is done, we'll be able to connect to SonarQube as well. Meanwhile, I can get the public IP address. Okay, this is done, so we can go on browser and we can provide the IP address :9000, which is the public port. Which is the port, sorry, not public port. This is the port on which SonarQube will be running. Okay, so this will take, yeah, SonarQube is getting started. This will take few minutes, so we will just wait for it. Meanwhile, for you, let me tell you like how you can exactly set up the how you are going to write the commands for SonarQube. So as I told you, inside the GitHub Actions, we have this section. Let me show you these sections. Uses, these are the actions. So for SonarQube also we have some kind of action from where we'll be able to find. You can simply go on browser and search for SonarQube actions. Do that, open the first one, which is going to take you to official page of marketplace actions of GitHub. Scroll down and you'll be able to see a certain set of commands using which you can perform the SonarQube analysis. Okay, so yeah, this is the command that we can utilize. Now coming back here, let us connect to our SonarQube and let us change the password. Okay, so this is done, and next thing that we want to do is generate token. So I can go here, security, and here can generate tokens, provide any name and generate. Okay, so this is done. Next, what we have to do, we have to go back. Let me open in duplicate. Now the thing is, in Jenkins we used to provide all the parameters like project key, project like name, those things directly in the argument, right? Here what we are going to do, if I show you, we have to create a new file. Inside that file only we have to write. So that file is named sonar-project.properties. Okay, so I will copy this. I'll come here and we have to create this file. So I'll create new file. Content will be this and name will be sonar-project.properties. It's a properties file. Here name you can give, I'll just give GC bank. Same thing here also. Okay, and Java binary, so I'll just put a dot. We are going to commit this. Okay, now coming back here, so we have to now write the stage for SonarQube. I'll edit this. Okay, so what I want when we build the application, and when we while building the application, we want to make sure that we have SonarQube also added in the same stage, same job. So I will copy this, add it here. This will be named as build and sonar scan. and let's write it build project. Okay, and we want that on testing it should be dependent, and here we will write build project. Command will be vn package. Okay, now we have to add steps for SonarQube, so we will go to here, and here this is the section that we are going to use. So from here steps we are going to add this part. Just make sure that everything is on the proper line. So this should be, I guess. Okay. Here we have to add action version. Okay, and where we can get it, if you see here, it says you need to go here to find the latest version. So I can go to this location and I'll just add this one. Okay, and let me add this. Okay, now here we have two important things, token and host URL, that we have to add, and where exactly we need to add. If I show you, first I'll copy token. Let's go to our project, the one that we just created, this one, and we will go to settings, scroll down till you find security. Inside security we have secrets and variables. Click on actions, click on this, secret name is this one, and we have to provide token. Token is this one. Can add that. Second thing, that we have to add one more secret, which is, if I show you, the host URL. Okay, so I'll copy that as well. This is the host URL, and we have the URL like this. So we will copy that as well. Remove the last slash and click on add secret. Okay, so these two are added now, and here rest everything is fine. We also have the Sonar project properties file. Okay, this is variable format, so let me add it in variable. Here also it's fine. Here also I can add it, and secret also, but yeah, let's make sure everything is correct only. So I will copy this and secret variables, value will be this. Okay, and now we can simply name SonarQube scan is fine. Okay, side by side let us add for this one quality gate check also. So we can go back, go here, we can go to actions, here we can search Sonar, and this option is Sonar quality gate check, that is the official one. So we will open this, scroll down. Okay, we have analysis result of this. Okay, we will add this one. You can add it here. Let us correct the indentations. Okay. Okay, see, now you see the problem here, it's using it vars, and here below it's using secrets. So let us just add it to vars only. Okay, now seems fine, so we can commit the changes and let's see what happens now. If an issue is there, we can fix that as well. So now this will take a little bit of time, so we will wait for that. Okay guys, so everything was fine, but we had an error while running Sonar analysis. the error that we see is unzip command not found. So basically it need to install SonarQube scanner, but the problem is that it does not have, it needs unzip, right? It needs to like unzip the package, so it is not having that. So what we are going to do, first of all, we will open our runner and we are going to make sure that it has unzip installed. As you can see, by default it's not having, so we can install it. And once this is done, then we can trigger the pipeline again. Let's go back above, rerun failed jobs. I want to run. Okay, so this has started, and yeah, we will wait for this to complete. So guys, SonarQube stage is successful now, and here if I go, you can see GC bank bugs and everything is present. That means analysis has been done and it works fine. Okay, next step that we want to add is going to be for Docker build and publish. So guys, before we build our pipeline, we need to make sure that Docker is present on the runner, and as we can see, Docker is not present as of now. So what we have to do, we have to go on browser, search for Docker install, and we click on the first link, and here you can download, we can copy the commands, and let's wait for this, and we can copy the second command also, and we can run this. Once Docker is installed, we are going to set the permissions for Ubuntu so that it can execute the commands. So let's wait for this to complete. Okay, here I am going to run sudo usermod -a capital G docker ubuntu. Okay, this is done, and we are, for changes to apply, we are going to run new group docker. Okay, sorry, the command should be new group docker. So this is fine. Before we trigger the pipeline, make sure that you are stopping the runner and closing one time, and let us connect again. Once you have connected again to the runner, you will go inside the actions folder and then again start the runner. Okay, so that the permissions that we have set up for Docker should be applied. So guys, next up we have to add Docker stage. Now, few things we need to understand very clearly here. If I show you, so inside our Docker file, what we have written for copying the jar file, so I have written app folder. Inside my app folder, jar file is present. From there it needs to be copied. Okay, generally what happens when we use this build project, here using mvn package command, we are building the application and we are generating the jar file, right? But the problem that we will be facing, that for Docker build and push stage, we are push commands, we are going to create separate job. Now artifact from this job won't be accessible to different job. So what we have to do here, we are going to create another action, which is to upload an artifact. So from this job, we are going to upload the artifact, and in the next job, we are going to download the artifact so that artifact is available. Okay. So for that, first let's go into edit mode, and inside here, we are going to add one command, which is going to be for upload jar artifact. Here we are using action upload artifact, and here we are uploading this artifact on this location. Okay, so I will add it here. Just make sure the indentations are correct. Okay, so now this artifact is getting uploaded. Next thing that I am going to do is set up a new stage. Okay, sorry, new job I'm setting up. See, I have worked so much with Jenkins that continuously I keep saying stages. Okay. Okay, so here we have to rename this, and I'm going to rename this to build Docker image and push. Okay, and here I want to run this job after this job, so I'll be writing here as this. let me remove these things. These are not required. So now what we have to do, we have to add the checkout we are doing. Next thing we have to add is basically download the artifact jar file. So I'll copy this, add it here. Just make sure indentations are correct. So if you're new with indentation, you can use ChatGPT to modify. Okay, this is fine. Now inside app folder, there will be our jar file present. Next thing that I want to add is Docker. Okay, so for that we can go to actions. Here you can simply, if I go here and search for Docker, you can see first one, official one, we have build and push. So we will copy that, scroll down, and we have to add the stages. So I'll copy this and we will go back here. Okay, so few things we have to correct now. It's basically, okay, let's do one thing. Indentations we have to correct. Same for this also. Okay, almost done. Sorry. Okay. Now, here what things we are doing. First of all, we are adding Docker login to Docker Hub, and here we have to add the variable and the secrets. Then we are setting up 𝗬𝗼 and setting up Docker buildx. 𝗬𝗼 is required because in case you want to build images that are basically like ARM images and you are building on x86 build. So for that it will be needed, and these two are mandatory so that you don't face any issues while building any kind of images. You can build them without an issue. Okay. And last thing we have is basically the Docker image that you want to build. So I'm going to name it my username /backup::latest. We are going with the latest one, but if you want, we have options to set up the build based on build numbers. We can set up the tag. Okay, for now we are just going with latest. So here what we have to do next, we have to set up our username and password for Docker. So first I'll copy this. This is going to be var. So we will go here on our GitHub Actions project, go to secrets and variables, actions, in variables I'm going to add new, and name is this, and this is going to be the username, which is this one. Okay, and we have to add next is the secret, which is going to be the password. For password we have this one, and password we can add. Okay, this is done. Next thing what we have, so here as you can see clearly we are building and pushing the Docker image. Okay, so this is fine. Now we can commit the changes, and now we have to see what happens. Okay, so it seems fine, and I'll just commit the changes. And here we can monitor. These are the stages added, and all of them are dependent, so that one will run only if previous job is completed. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit of time. So once this is completed, then I'll be back. So guys, our Docker stage is also successful, and we are able to build the Docker image. Next step would be to set up EKS cluster using Terraform. So for that, I'm creating separate virtual machine using which we will be managing our cluster. So I will create the Ubuntu machine version 24.04. T2 medium is fine, and we can select the key, security group, the one that we are using, and storage 25 to this one also. We are going to launch the instance. Let's refresh the page, and let us connect to this server. We will go to Movax term and let us create a separate duplicate session, rename it to server, and we are going to replace the IP address. If you want, you can change the color also. Okay, so let us connect to it. And now what we need to do, we need to first of all install two things, AWS CLI and Terraform. So before anything, we are going to run sudo apt update, and meanwhile this is happening, we are going to generate the credentials for our account. So we will go to your profile, security credentials. So on this page, we have to go to access keys and we have to create the access key. We'll select this, click on create access key, and we have this, right? Next up, what we are going to do, we are going to install AWS CLI using this command. We will copy that and install on the server machine that we have just created. And let's wait for this to complete as well. See, AWS CLI is going to help us connect to our AWS account. So now I'm going to run AWS configure, and we have to provide the access key, which is this one, and this secret access key, which is this one. And region, in our case, it is going to be AP dash south dash 1. Okay, so now we are connected. Next thing that we have to do is install Terraform on our machine. So I'm going to execute this command. And once this is happening, we can go here. So this is another repository for Terraform, and this contains code for installation of this one. It contains code for installation of EKS on our AWS account. Okay, so I'm going to clone this repository, git clone, and this is done. Now we will go inside the repository, and I'm going to run Terraform init, and let's wait for this. Okay, next thing we are going to run Terraform apply auto dash approve. Okay, and that's going to set up the EKS cluster on our account. So let's see what happens now. And total 17 resources are going to get created. So we will wait for this to complete. Okay, so team, as we can see, cluster is set up, but still we should be able to access it. Okay, so first of all, I am going to install kubectl on the machine so that we should be able to access the cluster. So that kubectl is basically CLI to communicate with Kubernetes. So once kubectl is installed, we need to make sure that we are able to access the cluster. But if I run this command kubectl get nodes, it's going to give error because we have not yet connected to the cluster. For that, you have to set up your kubeconfig file, which can be done using this command. So I can do that. Once you do this, and if I run again kubectl get nodes, we should be able to see the worker nodes, right? This is fine. Next thing what we need to do, as I have told you previously also, kubeconfig is a file which contains complete information about the cluster, plus it can also be used as an for authentication with cluster. So basically on this location there is kubeconfig file. If I click enter, you should be able to see the file. So what we are going to do now, we are going to copy this whole thing, and we are going to create a secret inside our GitHub Actions. So I can go to settings, secrets and actions, click on this. So in secret you have to add this. Let me add this first. Okay, so now team, let's talk about how we can add Kubernetes stage. So the thing is, even though we have the EKS kubeconfig file, but we cannot use the kubeconfig file for authentication because it does not contain the static credentials. So in that case, what we are going to do, we need to set up AWS CLI on the runner, and then via that we are going to set up the credentials. Okay, so for that, first of all, let me create one job. I can go here. Okay, and name will be deploy to Kubernetes. and this will be dependent on Docker job. So it should be running after that. Okay. Now, how do we add it? So basically, first of all, we need to check out the code. Why we need to check out the code? Because the YAML manifest file is existing inside the root directory. So we need to clone the repository in order to have that. Then we are going to set up AWS CLI on our account. Then we are going to install it. Okay. And next up, we need to add the credentials. Now, in order to make sure that credentials are not accessible to any other, we need to add them in the form of secrets. Okay. So first of all, access key ID, I'm going to copy this, and let me open a duplicate session. Here in settings, we'll go, and here in secrets, we'll go to actions, add the secret. First will be this secret access ID, which we can copy from here and we can paste it. Next one is going to be secret access key. So for that, we can copy this, add it here, and add the secret. Secret also will be able to get from here. Okay. So both of them we have added. Next thing what we need to do, we need to make sure that we have kubectl also installed on our runner. So that can be done using these actions. Next up, what we are doing, we are creating a kube directory. Okay, creating a kube directory which will be contain the kube config file. As we have already created a secret for this, so this will be done. And final, we can simply run a shell command to perform the deployment. Okay, so let us add this. Just make sure that steps are correctly written and indentations are correct. So once you have corrected the indentations, next thing you can do is directly commit the changes, and we can start running the pipeline. We can see the status on actions, and yeah. So yeah, let's wait for this to complete. This might take a little bit of time. Guys, as we can confirm now, application has been deployed successfully. Now, just to confirm everything works fine, we can go here on the server side and we can run the command kubectl get all, and here we can see application is running. We have the load balancer URL as well for the application. So let us try to access it on our browser. Yeah, so application is working fine. Now again team, batch 9 is starting from 25th of March. That is, I think 2 days to go. So if interested, make sure to check it out.